What's up, y'all? Another episode of the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast coming at you Sunday night, December 8th. I'm your host, Grand Prix on this screen. That's Michelle Zangulis on the other. Say whatever you want to, Michelle.
Whatever you want to, Michelle.
Okay, you remembered that one. Good job. All right, before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. The Tough Runs Don't Last podcast is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all 5 of their races, run your race at your convenience, track it with your fitness app of choice, screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. And you can find us, the Tough Runs Don't Last podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok at TR Don't Last. Say hello to Ferpa, everybody. He's making an appearance there. Um, yeah, I got nothing. You good over there, Michelle, or what?
Yeah, he'll be good. We'll see what happens.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your day while I clear my throat.
Okay. So it is Sunday evening. It has been just a long day. I have my last final tomorrow, so I spent quite a few hours down at our local law school studying for my final. But we had a pretty eventful weekend that we're going to talk about today. Graham's got a lot to share. We did some things together, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Okay, you said we. I was like, I assume you're talking about you and I, not you and Ferpa. Yes, I yesterday I did the Three Bridges Marathon in Little Rock. It's a marathon course where you run over 3 different bridges in the Little Rock area. It's pretty self-explanatory. It was a little chilly at the start. It was, I think, 30. I want to say it was 30 degrees when I checked the temperature before I left the house yesterday morning. I got up at 4:15 a.m. It was a 7 a.m. start, but it's you how you were supposed to do it. You were supposed to park at this church, this big church parking lot, and you were going to take a trolley down to that will take you to the start line. It shuttles back and forth, similar to on a much smaller scale, similar to the New York City Marathon. So on a much smaller scale, which I mean, the trolley was running constantly, and they had said the latest, like basically don't get on the trolley past 6:15 a.m. Like that's what they said to do. And so I made it a point to get there. I pulled up to that church at 5:58 a.m. and there was a guy doing with the air traffic control things. They were lit up in red. There were 2 of them there. One was in the parking lot and one was by the road. The guy at the road, he stopped me and he actually stopped the vehicle in front of me and told them something. And I just thought, I wonder what's happening. And then they turned and went a different way. And it got to me and he said, "Hey, there's extra parking down by the start and finish area if you just want to go park down there." And it was still really early. And of course, I don't drink coffee before a race. And so it took me a second to process what he was telling me, but then it hit me. I was like, "Oh, okay, that's better." Is basically what I computed. So it's dark, and so I drive down. I drive down to the start finish. I say it's dark because it's a dark road, and I'm thinking I don't know exactly where to go. I assume I just say stay straight, but I kind of made it a point to speed up to catch up to that vehicle in front of me because I was able to piece together that's what they were doing. And I did. I approached them, and the trolley was even in front of them. So I was like, I'm definitely going in the right direction. So I get there to the park, and I park maybe I don't know 100 yards or so away from the start finish area. So I'm right there. It was great. And I get out And I sit there and I park, and I already have my packet. I picked up my race packet Friday, so I didn't have to worry about that. But I decided to get out and just go kind of scope out the area. I walk up, and well, they got music blaring. I mean, from the start, just some pump you up type of music, even a little goofy. The Backstreet Boys were playing as I was walking up, and uh, like there's these big tinted areas, closed off tents, and I go in them. There's like a main entrance, and there's like a back entrance further down, but there's like a main entrance to that tent area, and there's already runners in there hanging out. They have like pre-race stuff like coffee and snacks, and people are really just hanging out by the heaters. They have these heaters in there, massive like heaters for something like that. So it was a very toasty atmosphere before the race. And I thought, well, this is nice. But also, I realized my car was not very far away. So I just walked over back to my car and sat in my car for about 20 minutes and just relaxed. My car was already warm because it was about a 40-minute drive. So I get out, excuse me. I get out at I think 6:30, and I go back into the tent. I see my fellow Cabot cruisers in there, the ones that were there. We hang out. I made the Iron Runner photo. We didn't do a Cabot Cruiser group photo just because there wasn't enough of us there, so it wasn't really necessary. But yes, I made the Iron Runner photo. I was I had a very poor percentage of making that photo this year, but I made that one, and yeah, and then I basically had just enough time to go to the porta potty and pee and get to the start, and we were off. The start was as awesome as you could get. Uh, we were running toward, I'm drawing a blank now on where we ran towards. So just toward the Little Rock side, like going to the river trail, if that makes sense. And Michelle knows what I'm talking about. Our listeners probably don't, unless you're local ish. But it was as beautiful of a start as you could get because you're running by the river and the sun is coming up. It's 7 a.m. And so you've got just enough daylight, but you've got the pink and purple skies mixed in with the blue. I mean, it was this, and I thought that I was like, man, this is beautiful. This is as good as it gets for a start. So that happened. I've got them over there. I didn't bring them, but or well, I should have put them here, but I had two pace charts. I made two little bitty pace charts so that I could put in each pocket. It was cold, so I had on winter gear, not too heavy, but a really light but cozy winter jacket. And I had a pace chart in each pocket. In my right one, I had a 4-hour pace chart. In my left one, I had a 4:30 pace chart. So in case I went into it trying to sub 4, but if something went wrong, or if I just I knew at a certain point I wasn't going to make it, I said, all right, well, keep the 4:30 one, and then you could scale it back a little bit if that's what you want to do. So I was going for a sub 4, and at about mile 7.5, I'd say about 7.5 miles in, we were on the North Little Rock side, and we were by the river, like we were along the river trail, but we were approaching that bridge. And I will say this about the race. The amount of bathroom stops were plentiful, like for the first several miles of the race. And like even when you hit like around Burns Park, you could use those. So the bathrooms were plentiful. But when you get to mile like 7 through I don't know 12, you got that 5 because you're basically doing like a wraparound. You run along the trail, you go over the bridge to the Clinton Library, and then you turn around at the Clinton Library and come back. When you hit mile 7 or so, there's nothing. There are no bathrooms. And sure enough, that's when my stomach starts to rumble. and I have it in my mind like, this could be bad. I hope something's like available soon. And I would have stopped around mile 8 if there were something available, but there wasn't. Uh, Ferpa is very interested in what I'm having to say, by the way, for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube. But anyway, once I get to the Clinton National Library, even then I'm looking around. I'm looking around for like a bathroom, like if there's one available. But I still have it in my mind, like I know if I stop, I have no if I stop for a for that type of bathroom break, I'm not coming in under 4 hours. So I'm trying to like push it out of my mind. And when I get back onto the bridge and I'm going over, it kind of passes. And I'm doing pretty good till mile 12. And that's when I'm like, I've got to stop. There's no way if it were a half marathon, I would have made it. I would have made it just fine. But I wasn't going to run 14 more miles feeling that way. It just wasn't worth it. So I come up to another porta potty, like aid station area, and like there's one porta potty, one guy runs in and goes clearly number one, and then there's this old lady waiting, and I ask her, I'm like, "Hey, are you waiting for the bathroom?" And she's like hunched over, which kudos to her for being out there at that age. And so I had to ask her like 3 times before she realized what I was saying, as she was clearly an early starter, which they did have a 5 a.m. early start and a 7 a.m. regular start. So imagine what time you have to wake up to be at the early start. But anyway, she says, yeah, she's waiting in line. And she clearly was either going number 2 or just taking her absolute sweet time, because I was out there for a few minutes before I realized I'm not waiting. Um, so I'll find whatever's next. So it's about 2 miles later before I find a bathroom. I use it, and I told you about it. The porta potty, the way it was just positioned along the trail, it was tilted this way. So I was having to like hold the locked door, to keep myself, just not to keep people out, but just to keep myself braced as I did my thing. And I got that evil out of me. And it wasn't evil. It was just time to do that. It's hard to ask your body to go 26.2 miles without having to do that. And so I did that. Um, I'll spare the details of everything I told you yesterday. Told and showed you. But but I got that part over with, and then I realized, okay, well, I'm clearly not going to sub 4, but I can scale it back a little bit and at least enjoy these last 14 miles, because no, it was mile 14 at this point, so it was the last 12 miles, so I can enjoy these a little more. And so but I was still kind of well ahead. So I at a certain point, I kept checking the pace chart for the 4:30, and I was like 4 minutes ahead, and I felt okay. So I was like, I don't want to slow down. I want to go this pace, or what I feel like I can do, but not, overexert myself in the process. Because really, at the end of the day, yes, it's a Grand Prix race, and you want to compete. But I touched up on this on the last show. It wouldn't have mattered where I finished, whether came in under 4 hours or 6 hours. I'd still be third in my age group no matter what. So it really didn't matter at the end of the day. They did have 5 deep age group awards, which I came in 7th, and the guy who came in 6th came in like, I don't know, 10 seconds ahead of me. Like he was in front of me, and I actually thought like I wanted to catch him, but I was just gassed and I couldn't. He turned it up at the end. That would have killed me had he been number 5. Wouldn't have killed me, but it would have like irked me a little bit. Like, man, if I'd have just tried that much harder, like I could have left with a trophy. But it didn't happen for either one of us. He was 6, I was 7. Uh, it was, I don't know, it was a good race. Uh, Despite having to go to the bathroom, I PR'd by 12-ish minutes. Yeah, like 12 minutes and change. And I did that at Little Rock this year. Yeah, I came in at 4:34:50 something, and I did that with a groin injury and scaling it back early. So I could have finished around that time or faster then. I just didn't know. I didn't know that at the time. And really, with a marathon, the ultimate goal is just the main goal is just finish. Just finish the thing. Um, but I felt pretty good throughout. I was getting a little gassed at the mile. Like it's different for everyone. When you go into a marathon, you kind of set little goals. I just said, let's get to 10 miles and then let's get to 17 because in my mind it was just like, okay, now I'm single digit miles. And then let's get to 20 and then we can just say, all right, we have a 10K left. And then let's get to 23 and say, okay, it's 5K. And you're gassed by 23. So then you're like, okay, let's get to 25. It's like, I mean, you're making little goals throughout. Um, but when I got to mile 20, I think 22 is what it was, or it was just before mile 22. Between 21 and 22, I think is where the Little Rock Roadrunners Club was. It was at Two Rivers Park, and they were along the trail there. And they had the adults, they had like their kids there, and I mean they have kids that compete in it, and one girl in particular is very fast, faster than 95% of the adults that compete in the Grand Prix. But that one kid was like, water Gatorade, and I was like, I think I got water, I don't remember. I took it, drank. I said, "You the man," and then just the girl I was talking about, she said pickle, or she was like pickle juice, pickles, like had both. I was like, oh, pickle juice sounded great at the time. Didn't think about it, but it sounded great. So took a shot of pickle juice, absolute game changer. I mean, it was like a jolt. I might as well have had a shot of adrenaline. I mean, it woke me up like nothing could wake me up, and that gave me like a boost for a couple of miles because again, I think when I hit mile 24, I was back to being gassed. But then when I got to 25, it's like I'm almost done. Let's just go. And yeah, finished and got my medal, and that was that. I went to the tent. I sat down, which by the time I finished, I was warm. It was in the 50s at that point, and so the heaters were turned off and everything. But I was warm. I wasn't concerned about getting warm, but I wanted to sit down. My eyes started to burn just from the salt from my eyelids, closing my eyes. And I was like, I just want to get to my car. And that's when I got to my car. I took a second to breathe and then I FaceTime you. And yeah, that was that. So how did I look when you answered the phone?
You didn't look great. You had what we later realized was like salt just on the like roses. Is that what they're called? Like of your cheek. Um,
Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's what it's called.
where it was just you had obviously been sweating and so it was white little patches. Your nose was super bright red and you just looked like you were not having a great time. I even asked, like, are you okay? And what's on your face? Were the questions I asked.
See, inside I felt great. On the outside, I mean, but I was still hurting. I was also hurting. Like I was very sore. I still had my shoes on, and they were really tight and hurt at that point. So I was like, I want to get my shoes off. I want to get in my Crocs. And that's when I went to the trunk with you still on the phone, and you were like, "Where am I?" I was like, "You're in the trunk."
It looked weird. I couldn't figure out where I was.
Well, yeah, you were in the trunk. Um, as I got into my Crocs, and yeah, basically it was just I had to sit in my car and recover for a bit. And at mile 16 is where the Cabot Cruiser aid station was. And I told you this, I must have looked bad. And this was past my stomach issue. I had already gotten over the stomach issue at this point. But still we're 16 miles in, and one of the cruisers, she who I've gotten to know fairly well, she just looked really concerned for me. She was like, what do you need? What can I do? And but said it, and I could see the look on her face and just the way she said it. She was really concerned for me and my well-being in that moment. And I was like, I don't feel as bad as I must look. And I even tried to joke. I was like, no, I'm all for the pain. Like, let's do it. But even then, I'm tired. So the way I said it probably just sounded bad. I don't know. But I was trying to make light of the situation. I was like, I don't feel as bad as I must look, because I don't know, she really thought I was like in trouble. Um, but that was my 13th, I think, official marathon I've ever done. I did one unofficial that was COVID canceled it, but they were like, turn in your Strava time and we'll send you the medal. And and give you it was during the natural state running series, the first version of it. And so they were like, we'll give you credit, just, and so that's why it's officially I've done 13. So I'm not new to this. But still 26.2 is 26.2. It's still, even for the most advanced runner, it's still I'm not gonna say a difficult day, but it's a long day. You're gonna feel it afterwards, even if you're, like I said, elite of elite. You're still gonna be a little sore, or at the very least, sleep well that night. I slept great last night, by the way, but I don't know. Like I felt normal though for the rest. By the time I got home, by the time, which by the way, I went back into the tent. I said, I told you, I was like, because I think you made the comment like, "Why are you still there?" or something like that. And I was like, they got food in there. I'm gonna go eat some of it. So I got in there. I scoped out the situation. They had some pizza. They had hot pizza, like the pizza was in like those warmers, that delivery drivers use. It was from Howdy's, and I've had it before, but I can't tell you where it is. I assume it's somewhere in Little Rock. But I got the basic like cheese pizza. It was hand tossed style, and I mean it's a good slice of pizza, but the way like it was good, but the way it hit after a marathon, once my stomach settled, it might as well have been like 5-star pizza. I mean that's how good it was, and it was still warm, and you can't go wrong with just like a plain cheese. And I said I'm gonna have two slices. I had two. I was talking to my buddy, my fellow iron runner Ron, in that's a cruiser, and we were sitting there just shooting the breeze. And then I was like, I'm gonna go get another slice of pizza. And so we're just sitting there talking. I'm having my third slice of pizza. Another iron runner, which was her first marathon, shout out Amy, came in, and we all three became official iron runners yesterday. So that was cool. But as that was happening, we were just all hanging out and just talking about the race. And then before I left, or Ron's phone died, so he needed to see like if he placed or not in his age group, because he usually does. Um, and I was like, "You can do it over there." And as he went to go do that, I was like, before I got no other reason to be here, but before I go, I'm gonna go grab another slice of this pizza. And so I grabbed another slice of pizza, and I just walked out, and I was eating it on the way to the car. And then I got in and I bounced. I headed home. I think I went straight home. Yeah, I went straight home. Took care of the dog. Hopped in the shower. Took a really long shower. Made sure I was thoroughly cleaned. And got out, made coffee, watched some football, and then you and I went and hung out after that.
So yeah, we hung out then.
Yes, we met at Hobby Lobby in North Little Rock. Thanks for going out of your way to do that, by the way,
Yeah.
because I had to, okay, I start a new job tomorrow and I had to do all this stuff. 'Cause it's a big hospital where I'm going to work and they wanted all these credentials and they wanted they said, if you got your high school diploma or college degree, either one will work. And I said, well, I'm just going to submit both because if I advance in this company, I might, I don't need a college degree for this role, but if one opens up where I do need a college degree, they'll have that on file. So I said, I'm just going to find both and, submit both. And I did. Um, and it took me a little bit. I found my high school diploma real quick. I was able to figure out where it was here in my place. I was like, I know it's in one of two closets. And when I opened the closet in this spare bedroom, it hit me. I was like, okay, it's that one, or it's up there. It's one of those four. But the college degree one was a little more challenging to find. I knew it was somewhere. I knew it was somewhere, and I just didn't know where. But I did find it relatively quickly. I found it about 20, 30 minutes later, but I did find it. And I thought, and it was in this, like really sturdy cardboard envelope that got mailed to me because I didn't walk when I graduated. I just figured I'd save $300 on a cap and gown and stuff. And like I've given enough money to the University of Arkansas. And Michelle's having a lot of trouble with cats in this episode. Did Ferpa bite you or something?
Yes.
I just saw the face that you made. I mean,
Ah,
bite her back or him.
we're okay. We're good. We're just,
Sure.
yeah, we're just gonna keep going.
Okay. Well, point being, I just said, I've never framed this college degree. And before I end up losing it, I'm pretty good about being responsible with my things, but let's just go ahead and hang the thing since I spent 5 years earning this thing. So you met me or I asked you about a frame shop, and you made the suggestion just go get a cheap one at Hobby Lobby. It's a lot cheaper. And so I conned you into coming to help me pick one out, and you did. You did great.
Thanks.
And I hung it up today, so it's right in front of me actually. Um, and then we went and had Wright's barbecue to celebrate. It was as delicious as the other time I had it in Rogers. We went to the one in Little Rock. It was amazing. Which, by the way, I got the 3 meat plate. I couldn't eat it all because I felt like I was starving at Hobby Lobby. So I had to get a snack and eat it there in the parking lot before I could make the near 20-minute trip to Wright's barbecue. So
Was
like I don't because I knew there was going to be a line too at Wright's. So it was Saturday night. There's a line anyway. There's going to be a line on a Wednesday morning. So I knew there would be one Saturday night. I was like, I have to have a snack before we go. And so we hung out in the park. I sat in your car. A buggy hit your car while we were sitting there.
yeah, I did.
I thought it was somebody maybe not purposely did it, but was very irresponsible. And I was legit about to get out of the car and cuss somebody out. Like one, I would have done that anyway, but two, I was hangry AF. So it would have been bad for whoever had done that if that were the case. But it was just kind of a stray that was out there that had been left out there.
It's just an unfortunate situation, and the wind got it moving, and it chose my car.
Yes. Fate chose you, unfortunately, chose your car. But yeah, we went to Wright's. And what did you think of it, first of all? Honest
Um,
assessment. And Michelle is a very picky eater, just FYI for everyone listening and watching the show going on in her household. it's just not. It's not going well with the cat situation over there.
Um, I'm sorry to everybody watching that is witnessing me and this cat fighting.
I mean, it's entertaining. But he is stealing the show or doing everything he can to steal the show.
For real.
The video version of it. It's gonna be
So
perfect for everybody listening in the car, but there's a cat running back and forth onto I mean, full on getting the zoomies or something,
yeah, yeah.
and just in front of the camera doing cat stuff. But anyway, continue, Michelle. If you even remember what was asked at this point.
I do. So I'm going to actually start with, though, it's probably a good thing that I did not know that I was going to have to stand in line for like 30 minutes. Um, because I probably would have just been irritated. But going in, the line was basically out the door. Like we were standing in the door for a minute. So,
And
uh,
just FYI, like the one time I went to the one in Rogers, same way. I mean, the line was out the door, but it was pretty quick
it did
there.
move quicker than I thought it would, for sure. And it was probably a good thing that it took a little bit longer because then we actually got seats. Because when we walked in, there wasn't a single place to sit inside. We would have had to sit outside. So, um,
Which I
but
would have been okay with, but you weren't. I'm telling, like it would have been comfortable. They have heaters, TV
yeah,
out there. It would have been fine, but you were not wanting to do that.
yeah, it would have been. I know it would have. So I got nachos. I got pork nachos. And so it comes with like their cheese dip, and then you get to put whatever toppings you want on it. And I put a pico and sour cream on top. And then they obviously have the barbecue sauce on the tables that you can put on. So that's pretty great. Um, I did not like the cheese dip. At first, when I first started, I thought I didn't like the barbecue sauce that I put on because I didn't try it first. I just went ahead and put some barbecue sauce. And I was like, "Ugh, I made a bad decision here." But I just realized I did not like their cheese dip. The pork was wonderful. It was very good. And I tried their spicy barbecue sauce, which was delicious. I absolutely loved that. Um, but a barbecue place really shouldn't maybe do cheese dip.
I like the cheese dip just fine. I tried it. I was like, this tastes good to me. But again, you're a very picky eater, and if you're gonna have barbecue nachos, then you probably need cheese dip.
Well,
Um, so you're gonna have to do that. But I think the better thing to say is if you're going to go to a barbecue place, maybe get barbecue stuff.
I got barbecue nachos.
Yeah, you still got nachos. But I mean, I liked it. The what I ate of it, I liked. So I would probably do that if I frequented there often. But that's only the second time I've been, and I was really hungry, so I got the 3 meat plate: brisket, turkey, ribs. Top 3 rib I've ever had. The brisket, probably the best I've ever had. I mean, it melt in your mouth stuff. Turkey was great. Top Probably top 3 turkey I've ever had. Best turkey I've ever had in my life was at this Cajun place I worked at in college where they deep fried it and injected it and did all this stuff. Uh, I mean, it was still juicy and all that, but I mean, so was the turkey at Wright's. I mean, it was great. Um, I asked for the Alabama white sauce. Spectacular on that turkey, and really anything, but it was it was great on that turkey. You don't need any sauce for the brisket or the ribs. Although I did put some barbecue sauce. I did put some on the brisket the first time I had it, and it was good. But I mean, you didn't need it. Um, Collard greens, top 1 or 2 collard greens I've ever had. Got the deviled egg potato salad. It's exactly like it sounds. Amazing. I snacked so much, like in the Hobby Lobby parking lot, I couldn't finish the whole thing. Which a 2 meat plate is plenty. Like you're full off of that. But I burned 3,700 something calories yesterday morning, so I was hungry, and But even then, I couldn't fit. I barely put a dent in the potato salad, and I couldn't finish a rib, so I took that home. By the way, I did finish it last night. I got home, and once I got settled, I was like, I'm gonna eat the rest of this, and I did. Michelle got bit yet again by the cat, whom she loves dearly.
I do love him dearly, but he is feral, so.
He is something.
I forgot to mention something else that I got.
This is where you tell us.
I also got banana pudding.
That's
And
right. You did get a banana pudding. You made a face as you bit into it for the first time, and knowing you, I knew it was either really good or bad.
it was really good banana pudding.
I'm
Um,
sure it was. Yeah.
I
I
actually,
haven't had anything there that I didn't like. I mean, it's spectacular barbecue.
this is reminding me that I have it in the fridge, and I'm very excited to consume that after I get off of here.
Rock on. I mean, you could have went and gotten it now and eaten it on the air. I mean, nobody's gonna care. It's our show.
It's true.
Um, but yeah, we had Wrights, and then I and Clemson, who outside of the Razorbacks is my football team. Rocking my Clemson koozie, by the way, with my Pepsi Zero. Uh, yeah, they had that game on. It had kind of just started, which ended up being a great game, by the way. But my plan was to head home after that and watch it. And you had mentioned going to the Capitol, which was just a couple miles away. And it was the Christmas lighting ceremony that night, whatever.
Yes.
What was that?
Nothing.
Oh, that's my dog breathing funny. Okay. I was like, what the heck is that noise? um, but yeah, we went and saw the lights there, the state capitol in Little Rock. We went inside and looked at everything in there, which is always beautiful around Christmas time. And we did that, and my stomach I didn't trust it, so I was like, all right, this is fun, but I got to bounce. I got to get home, take care of this, and watch football the rest of the day. And I did. I watched the rest of that game. Clemson won on a last second 56-yard field goal by a freshman who, you know, um, was, I don't know, his phone had to be blown up after that last night.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I got to see that, and I was in bed shortly thereafter. I was tired during the game, and I knew I was like, I want to go to bed here soon, and so that's what happened. I slept great. I didn't get out of bed till noon. Like I did have to get up a couple of times. My senior dog needed to go out a couple times. I put the cat out at, uh, I don't know, 8 o'clock this morning. I was like, I know you need to go to the bathroom because you still haven't given me a litter box. So she has to go outside. Like I have to make sure she goes outside even if she doesn't want to. So yeah, I didn't get out of bed till noon, but I slept great. Great. And I've just had football on. I hung my degree today. About an hour before we got on here, actually. I hung it up, cooked some ground beef, did the dishes, washing my bed sheets now. And that's been my day. It's been a very chill day before I start my new job tomorrow. So I need to get to bed at a relatively decent hour tonight. Gonna aim for 10, 11 tops. So you know how that'll go. Probably end up being 11.
I'm gonna aim for 9. I am sleepy, and tomorrow is my first day back in the office after 2 weeks. So,
Are you excited about that, by the way?
I am optimistic that it's gonna go well, but we will see.
How are you feeling, by the way? Michelle had surgery, and going up and down steps last night at the Capitol was a little challenging, but she did well, I thought.
Yeah, I am sore. I slept until 11 this morning. Um, and that is not normal for me. So I am usually on the weekends, my dog usually wakes me up around 8, 8:30. He did not. He let me sleep, which also tells me that something was wrong. But I was sore last night. I am sore today. And so I am nervous about tomorrow. But I am going to be optimistic that it's going to go well. Um, and we'll see.
All right. I'm not nervous about tomorrow. I have an orientation, so I have a day of that. Um, I was wondering if I should get coffee, but I assume they'll probably have some there. So,
I don't know. I didn't, there was not coffee at my orientation.
well, you're a different company. I
It's
want to say they had it when I was at St. Vincent for it. Yeah, they did. They had coffee for that. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have it for that or not, but I'll probably just roll the dice and see. Because I need to like be there for orientation and not in the bathroom for a portion of it. Before I forget, this was the marathon, the Three Bridges Marathon, medal. If I can spit the word medal out.
yeah.
It's okay, like it doesn't look as cool here because it's designed for like the sunlight to beam on it and then it just get really neon bright. Like it's maybe I can try this.
Can you turn it around because it's backwards for us?
Flashlight on. Maybe.
There you go.
You can see it a little bit better that way, or you at least get the idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Flashlight off.
For those just listening, it just says run 3B 26. And it's in like a purpley pink color.
It's purple. It's got some purple and green and like on a black square metal. It's I don't know, basic but unique. I like it. I don't know. I do this for it's a Grand Prix race. I was doing it for Iron Runner status, and yeah, I had said on the show I'm not doing the Grand Prix again next year, but I am going to. I'm not going to go the Iron route though. They will have 22 races. My goal is to do 6 championship and 6 non-championship races. So I'll do 12 of the 20. I'll do 12 to 14 of the 22. I think I'll just do 12 and then just let the chips fall where they may as far as placement. Why are you laughing?
Because my favorite thing is that it it just keeps going up. So it's like, well, I have to do 10, so 5 and 5, but I think I'll do 6 of each. And then I'm gonna do 12 to 14 total. And so it just keeps going up and
I
up.
might get bored one weekend. Who knows? Like I'm not going to train as hard next year as I did this year. I consistently trained all year because I thought that this was going to be like the one time I did it. So I just said I'm going to go all in and be as good as I can possibly be. And I had many PRs throughout the year as a result. PR'd my 10K by a lot, like nearly a full minute. Yeah, nearly a full minute from like 2018. And I was in killer shape then. So PR'd my half marathon. Uh, didn't PR my 5K, but got back into the 22 and a half range, which I didn't know if that would ever happen. I thought my sub 24 5K days were done. This year taught me otherwise. Of I don't know. It was a very unique experience and one I want to do again, just on a uh, smaller scale. Okay, going back to your point, and this has been in the back of my head for a while. I just never said it. I do think I want to iron again eventually. It just won't be next year.
I am so surprised.
Well, it definitely won't be next year because I have it conflicts with my pacing schedule. I've already committed to a pacing gig that's on the same day as the Soma mile, I believe. But plus, I'm doing this for multiple reasons. I don't want to iron 2 years in a row and then be potentially 3 more years away from the Joe Milligan Award, which is you get for doing 100 consecutive Grand Prix races. And that's just so much time and money that I just don't want to spend.
Yeah.
So I'm almost purposely eliminating myself from that by not ironing next year. And then I could just maybe iron again in 2026 and say, all right, you did it twice. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Because a girl in my run club has done it twice, and it was like 5 years apart. And for whatever reason, that's just stuck in my head. I want to do it twice, but not next year.
Okay.
Like I want to get the normal Grand Prix experience next year of just just your top five championship, top five non-championship races, especially since I actually know how they do the scoring now. But I'm going to throw one extra of each in there just to give myself that much better of a shot at placing. And yeah, that'll be that. I still have a very busy schedule next year, running wise. My pacing gigs have gone up, which I'm excited about. Anytime I can do a free half, I'm excited about because I want to do 100 halves before I even thinking about hanging my shoes up, and I'll be in the 40s by next spring. So it's almost looking realistic at this point through pacing. So there's that, and I'm sure the Natural State Running Series is going to be back because as cool as the award was this last time around, and they took a year off, surely they're gonna get just as many participants, if not more. I'd be surprised if it wasn't more this time around. Plus, they put out a Facebook post about maybe a month ago, talking about, or it was a no, it was a few weeks ago, wishing everyone luck at the White River Marathon. I'm like, they're putting this post out, they're surely coming back. Like, why else would they put it back? Put that post out there, right? But it's usually not till the end of the year that they kind of notify um, notify people of the series. At least that's how it worked the first time around. So with it coming back and pacing, doing just the basic kind of minimal amount for the Grand Prix seems reasonable to me. And with a lighter training schedule, I think I enjoyed every race I did this year. I love race day, but I got burned out on training by the end. Last month I got burned out on training. I would still do it. I would push through and do it, and I was glad I did it after, because you never finish a workout and say, "Man, that was a bad idea." Right? Like you never go into it thinking, "Man, I really don't want to do this," and then finish saying, "Yeah, I wish I wouldn't have done that." No, you're always glad you did it after the fact. But I was genuinely burned out with training, and I'm going to take a week off, um, just focus on my new job this week, do basic errand stuff. I'm going to be busy with all that anyway. So I'm going to take a week off from running and really any major physical activity. And yeah, just focus on work this week and try to refresh and go from there. So my times aren't going to be as great next year, but I'm going to stay ready because I have, like I said, I have a lot of pacing gigs. And I mean, there comes a certain responsibility with that. Like I have to be ready. So it's not like I'm just saying screw it with training, but I won't be as consistent, like as far as working hard week in, week out, this day, it's got to get done kind of thing. It'll just, if I'm tired after work one day and I just want to go home and not do anything, I'm going to do that.
That's
I'm going to do more than enough to make sure I'm ready to do what I have to do pacing wise. But that's it. Like and I'm going to compete on race day, but it's not going to be the grind of training that goes with it. It'll be, all right, this is the best I have today. And that's how I'm approaching it. So that's how I'm going to handle it. But
Uh,
you, Michelle, how are you handling it?
my motto right now is you don't have to always be good. Sometimes you just have to be good enough. We are in 28 hours. I will be done with my semester of law school, and I just have to get to that point.
28 hours. We're counting down the hours at that point. I mean, so wait, what did you say? You're done with what?
This semester of law school.
Okay. Okay. I thought you said law school at first. I was like, no, you're not going to quit, are you?
We'll see.
You've gotten this far. Like, I mean, aren't you at the halfway point after this?
No. Next semester, ending next semester is the halfway point.
Okay. Well, I mean, you're doing well right now. I did get to add to my safety pin collection that I like. I keep the safety pins I like as far as what you use as to put your bib on. The ones that, because these barely pierce like clothing. So I always keep those because half the races have the big ones that you got to really work to stick through your clothing and leave big holes. So whenever I get those, I just switch them out for the kind that I like that are in my car. Like I keep a set in my car for stuff like that. Just right with my pins and my keys and whatever. So yeah, I got to add Three Bridges had some good ones, so I got to add to it. I just added it to this in case something happens to the set of four that I have in my car. But yeah, Michelle's finishing up law school. I have wrapped up the 2024 Grand Prix. I don't have another race scheduled for this year. Uh, I have kicked around the idea, like what's next? Like the ugly Christmas sweater race
Mhm.
is the 21st, correct?
Yes.
And there is a deadline as far as if you want to get in at like the $40 rate, right? When
Yes.
is it? Like the 14th?
It's the day before.
The day before the race?
Yeah.
Doesn't so you're saying race day registration is like $50.
Yeah.
Michelle's looking it up now, I think. As Ferpa watches on.
I know I'm a little nervous.
Wow, you've only been bitten twice on this episode.
Right? Little Ryan. It says if my internet would work.
And like you said, eat.
Well, you know.
I mean, that's what you said, but people listening are gonna be like, what?
What? 5K. Oh, the 16th, sorry.
I'm gonna say that doesn't make sense to bump it up that much the day before the race.
16th. And the race is the 21st
Okay,
at
tell us what you're seeing. You're nodding.
7 a.m. I was just like, yes, this is what we were. This is
Okay,
what,
so it's $40 until the 16th,
yes.
and
And
then
then
it
it
bumps up
goes
to what?
$50. Um, and that's just for race day though. So online registration ends the 16th.
Okay, and it's at a $40 rate. It's at Two Rivers Park, I believe. That's where it always has been. Well, that's not true. It was at the outlet malls or outlet mall. Bass Pro is for the first couple of years, and then they moved it to Two Rivers Park. I don't think I'll get the itch to go do it. If I were to go do it, it would be for fun. I wouldn't be going. I mean, I'd want to go like get a good run in, but I'm not going to like compete or anything like that. But I don't think I'm going to get that itch. I think I'm going to take advantage of sleeping in that Saturday.
I feel like that's
So that's yeah. So that's probably going to be unless you wanted to do it.
I am not able to.
Okay, that's true. So I will probably skip it this year, and of course, I haven't done it in a few years at this point. I haven't done the run local race series on. I believe this will be year 3. That's a fun thing to do. It's a 3-race series, so it's not a big thing, but it's all Little Rock race affiliated, and it's put on by the Little Rock Marathon crew. But it's a nice medal, the Run Local medal. I believe it's sold. Well, it's a wrap at this point. If you haven't signed up for it, because they had the creep and crawl in October, late October, and then you do the ugly Christmas sweater run, and then you do one of the Little Rock Marathon races. And by that I mean 5K, 10K, half marathon, or marathon. You do any of those along with the either creep and crawl 5K or half marathon and the ugly Christmas sweater 5K, and then you get the Run Local medal. So it's a very doable race series, I think, for anyone, like any skill level. So I do think that's neat. But that's it as far as racing for me this year. I don't have another one scheduled till January 25th, and that's a pacing gig. Now, they do have the 1 hour track run, which is a championship race in Russellville the next day, the 26th. So I'll probably do that just because there's 22 Grand Prix races next year, but only 8 of them are championship races. So if I'm going to get 6 of them in, I got to do really as many of those as I can.
It's true.
And one of them is the Jacob Wells Three Bridges Marathon. And as much as I enjoyed the race yesterday, I don't want to do that again if I don't have to. So,
No.
yeah, so I'm going to take advantage of the smaller distances to get my Grand Prix points in next year. So I'll probably be doing that come January 26th. So I'll have a weekend full of running in late January. But just training and living life until then. And again, training just basically not when I have time for it, but just well, yeah, when I have time for it, but I won't be as religious about my training this coming year. All right, before we get out of here, I would like to congratulate Michelle on making the fantasy football playoffs. It's not official, but she's going to win this week.
I am in this week.
I am not. I had a very tough matchup in the final week that I had to win. Jerry Judy absolutely obliterated me last week to force me to lose a very much needed game I needed. I would have had to win tonight to have a chance. That's not going to happen. I'm getting smoked at the moment. What's even the score? I'm just going to look at the score. You don't have to tell me.
It's not good. It's
Oh,
not
I already knew that. Yeah, he has double points. Now I have 2 guys left. All right, I have 2 guys left to play. Oh, okay. And then at the last second, Lad McConkey is out. So at
Yeah.
the last second, he was questionable, and then they sat him. So, oh, do you know how mad I would be if it were close?
Yeah.
Oh, I would be so mad. But I have no shot. I have absolutely, even with him playing, I have no shot. It's 160 to 80 right now.
Yeah.
Okay, he has Josh Allen
I was
and
gonna
Puka
say,
Nakua. They
Josh,
combined for 93 points.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So at that point, I'm not even mad. It's just laughable. It's like, okay, it's like there was truly no shot.
Yeah. No. That's
But yeah. So I'm gonna take an L. Michelle's gonna win. She's definitely gonna win.
I am.
Now you did get the luxury of playing the 2-11 guy, and I had to play the top guy in our league.
Okay, but I played the top guy in our league, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, but he didn't score 160 points on you.
He didn't. I beat him. Sucker.
Yeah, but I won't be a sore sport. Congratulations. I am officially done checking fantasy football for the year. I don't give a damn about the consolation rounds. If I'm not in the big one, I don't care anymore. Like you've already lost me.
Does this mean that you're going to help me take him down?
I'll do what I can. But if Josh Allen and Puka Nakua are putting 93 points up,
I have
every
no, I have
yeah,
no.
there's nothing I can do. But yeah, I'll give you advice on who to pick up because that's officially it for me. Like I'm done checking it. Like I like pride kicks in, like, and I'll just make sure like I'll have people playing that aren't injured, but I'm not like picking up a free agent or anything. Like I
Yeah.
don't care anymore. So yeah, congratulations to Michelle. My team gave it a go. It just didn't happen. It's never a good sign when you have the number one overall pick and he doesn't play for the first 8 weeks, and then when he does play, he lasts like 3 games, and then he's done for the year. Like that's a bad omen. And
It really is.
yeah, but it's all right. Can't win them all. So it's what it is. Congrats, Michelle. We'll keep everyone updated on how she does in the playoffs starting next week. Are you excited about that?
No, I kind of wish I was done.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's something you shouldn't have admitted to me on this show because that's just annoying. All right, we're gonna get out of here on that. But until then, we'll see y'all next week. This is Tough Runs Don't Last podcast. I'm Graham. That's Michelle and Ferpa. See
See?
y'all next. Okay, we screwed that up. See you next week.
See ya.
There you go.